Hi, and very warm welcome again. This is Sami Muhammad, Director of Whale Cloud, and today what I am covering is one of the most important and most discussed topic, and probably we are discussing it, and we are making some videos since the last year as well. And today I have Andy, who is basically the Vice President of EVP of TMF, and one of the lead for this topic which we are going to discuss. And the topic itself, the most discussed topic, it is ODA, Open Digital Architecture. So I'll be asking a few questions from Andy, and I will be involving our old colleague, Cici, not a face which is not recognized anymore. She's very famous in Whale Cloud itself. So thank you so very much, Andy, for giving us time and coming to our booth and visiting us. We all know that ODA is an ideology which was started back in the 17s and the 2018s. It got boosted during the pandemic. And now it is already being realized and being accepted by the tier 1 operators and tier 1 solution vendor providers. So a straightaway question that how this journey is for you from being the pioneer since the beginning until this moment of time when you see it realizing and being accepted.
Yeah, it's really a fantastic journey, actually. As you say, back in 2017, 2018, a number of our operator members got together to compare and contrast their architecture blueprints for enterprise architecture, and they discovered a lot in common. Perhaps they were using different language for some parts of it, but the basic structure they all began to agree as a blueprint. And of course that was quite theoretical in those days.
Right.
But we already had some of the pieces quite mature. So the ETOM business process framework was an important aspect, the information framework SID, and the open APIs at that stage were becoming established, some real tangible assets, downloadable, usable code. The bits that were missing were the concepts which we have created since, in particular ODA components and Canvas, the software building blocks, and the infrastructure, the cloud infrastructure they plug into. The concept was to standardize these, and back in those days it was a theory.
Yes.
Now at the event here you can see great support from, as you say, the CSPs are adopting ODA as their blueprints, their reference architecture. The hyperscalers are all building ODA canvases, and the software providers are supporting ODA components. So all the pieces are coming together, and it's really happening in the real world.
So are you satisfied with the overall journey process and evolution, like transformation itself, since the time you had this idea until now when it is realized?
Well, the work is not done, of course.
Right.
We're still at the stage, I think, of early adoption. I think the theory is well understood, and everybody agrees it's a good idea. We're about halfway there, I think, with being able to establish true plug-and-play interoperability and conformance validation for components in Canvas. We're seeing prototypes of how this will work. Maybe in a couple of years' time, we'll reach a level which we're already at with the open APIs. So, for instance, with the APIs, we have nearly 800 conformance certifications, actually more than 800 conformance certifications from about 70 member companies. We have lots of real-world API conformance certifications, so it's not just in theory in the lab, in product tests, but also live deployment. So some of these things are now very advanced. But the APIs are just a piece of the components. Yes. The rest of the components, how they plug and play together, how they integrate to the canvas, is work that we're still standardizing and still developing.
Especially in keeping the customer experience management domain, the AI domain, all these plugins are going to be playing a very important role. This time I have seen AI has been another very hot topic together with plug and play kind of, and so that it can be put it into the ODA architecture and combine with that. Sounds really interesting. One question that I would like to ask here is that definitely, when there is a new idea coming, the acceptance of the new idea is not like abrupt, and you need to convince. So did you find any difficulty at that moment of time convincing that we want to standardize a telecom processor in such a way, or architecture in such a way that they can be, the software development life cycle becomes shortened, and to give us more standardized and more open kind of thing? So did you find any difficulty convincing to the operators or the vendor solution providers?
I think it's fair to say nobody thought it was a bad idea, because everybody in the industry has been suffering from the same problem,
right,
which is a lot of heavy customization of the software. The whole end-to-end life cycle is very long and complex, right from the procurement process all the way through to trying to change the software which is deployed in the real world. Very difficult to do typically, because you pull one end of the string and you've no idea what happens elsewhere. So
True.
This very tightly coupled, heavily customized software has been preventing our industry from launching new products and services quickly and generating growth. So the idea is very easy for the whole industry to buy into. The practical reality of how to make it happen requires everyone to make a change. Of course, the software vendors have to look at the open APIs and the component architecture and modify their products to migrate towards that. But at the same time, our operator members have to look at their deployment environments and also acknowledge they have their part to play to migrate towards the ODA canvas. So it's a requirement for the whole industry to migrate from their existing multiple as-is architectures to a common to-be architecture, which of course takes investment, takes time. There'll be early adopters and there'll be late adopters.
Sure. Yeah.
We're in the early adopter stage right now.
True.
But I think the competitive advantage that it gives those companies is becoming clear. And so, whilst there's still a lot of work to do, I think the concepts are very well established, the need is very well established, and the industry is really getting behind it, as you can see from the show. Everybody's talking about ODA and what they're doing with it.
Correct. Sissy, connecting to this question, I will ask, as a vendor solution provider, was it easy for you to adjust to this new idea, to change, and for the realization to come up with this embarrassing open platform? What were the challenges that you came across, and how did you overcome those challenges? Very quickly.
Yeah, so from our WellCloud experience, I think we adopt this ODA strategy is driven by both of the market requirement as our internal requirement. So if we talk about the market requirement, that means, as Dr. Andy Tiller just introduced, at that moment, maybe 7 years ago, a lot of the tier 1 operator already initial this kind of the idea. And they put this requirement also into our delivery projects. So this is a real driven. Okay, so from our internal, it's also almost at the simultaneously time, our product roadmap, we are considering from the virtualized version to totally cloud native version. So, and based on this two kind of the reason, we come to Terraform ODA. So I think this is a very good kind of the strategy to leading us when we migrate our traditional previously version 8 virtualized version to currently totally cloud native architecture version 9.
Very true, very true. Thank you so much, Sissy. Andy, coming back to you for one final question, if you don't mind me asking, is how do you see the contribution of the vendor solution providers in general, and then definitely talking a bit more on Whale Cloud contribution, and what do you expect in the future that that needs to be done to improve. As you said that you're in the initial adapter phase, and still there is a lot more to come. So how do you find it, and what are going to be some of the key areas that needs to be touched by the vendor solution providers, and then Whale Cloud? Your expectation?
Yeah, I mean, you might think that vendors would resist the move to ODA,
right.
but in practice, they're feeling as much pain, I think, as our operator members who are. All struggling with the maintenance burden of legacy software.
True. Very
so we found very good adoption, at least of the ideas. But then some of our vendor members have really rolled up their sleeves to try and make it a practical reality. So Whale Cloud is one of the companies that has really made a very strong contribution to the development of the ODA standards. Not just the theoretical standards, but also working in our open digital lab environment,
right.
Creating practical reference implementations, developing the test methodology and tooling for conformance verification of ODA components and Canvas. CC and colleagues have made a big contribution there, but also you've provided a very strong link to other members in China, which has helped a lot, because it's very important that ODA is a global standard.
Yes.
And we don't want to create different architecture standards across the world.
Regions, yeah.
So, helping to involve China Mobile, also a member of our Components Accelerator project. Yes. Developing the same concepts in China as the likes of Vodafone and Orange and others are doing in Europe is helping our industry to stay aligned and connected, even in turbulent geopolitical climates. So.
Perfect. Finally, I would like to request you to give any message with regards to ODA and its future to our viewers and listeners who are listening to this vlog.
Yes, if you are not already involved, it's not too late. You can still have an opportunity to get involved, to help to influence the direction of the standards, to help to develop them and get really good practical experience. So, TM Forum's role in this is to facilitate. We want to bring the industry together to provide the platform to create the standards, not just theory, but also detailed practical assets. You can download the code from our GitHub repositories and get going very quickly. So come and participate. Not only to contribute, but also to learn a lot from your peers. It's a fantastic opportunity to learn what other people are doing, how they're doing it, and to influence the direction of the standards. So we welcome all members to participate, and if you're not a TM Forum member, please join.
Thank you so very much, Andy. It was really pleasure talking to you. A very informative, journey that you have come across, in few minutes of time. Thank you so very much.
It's great.
So as you have heard from Andy, that it's never too late, and it's always good to have new initiatives and new start in order to improve your lifestyle and in order to improve overall everything. This is Sami Mohammed signing off. Thank you so very much.